Hello everyone. This part of our stereochemistry discussion is dedicated to discuss geometrical isomerism. Let's begin with ethene, an alkene. Here, the two carbon atoms are sp2 hybridized and they look like this. The sp2 hybrid orbitals of the two carbons overlap axially to form the carbon-carbon sigma bond, and the unhybrid p orbitals lying in the perpendicular plane undergo lateral overlapping to get the pi bond. And therefore the structure looks like this with a double bond between the two carbons, which involves a pi bond and a sigma bond. And due to the presence of this pi bond, the rotation about the carbon-carbon double bond is restricted. That means there is a restricted rotation in alkenes or in any pi bonded system about the double bond. And here in this example, the carbon atoms have the same substituents on both sides. But if you consider this example, here both the carbons are having different substituents. In this case, you have got this particular kind of orientation or geometry possible, and there is a different geometry possible such that the big green atoms are placed on the same side. If you were able to rotate the first structure about the carbon-carbon bond, you could get the second structure. But in practice, the rotation is prohibited because of the presence of this pi bond, as we have seen before. Therefore, those two structures exist as different entities or different isomers where the molecular structure is the same and the connectivity are the same, just that they differ in the three-dimensional arrangement of atoms about the double bonds. So this constitutes a kind of configurational isomerism called geometrical isomerism. And the first structure where the similar groups are arranged on the opposite sides of the double bond are called the trans isomer, and the second structure where the similar groups are placed on the same side of the double bond is called the cis isomer. So this is geometrical isomerism, which arises due to the restricted rotation about carbon-carbon double bond and due to the presence of different substituents on carbon atoms. Let's now see some examples. Starting with 1,2-dichloroethene, we've got chlorine and hydrogen on each carbon. Here, this is the cis-1,2-dichloroethene because the two chlorines are on the same side and two hydrogens are on the same other side of the double bond. Whereas in the trans isomer, you have got the similar chlorine atoms on the opposite sides and hydrogen atoms on the opposite side. Here we have got but2-ene. This is the cis form of but2-ene where the two methyl groups are on the same side of the double bond and two hydrogens are on the other side of the double bonds. Whereas trans butene has got the similar methyl groups are placed on the opposite sides. And we have got but2-ene 1,4-dioic acid. The cis form where the two carboxylic groups are on the same side is called maleic acid, and the trans form where the two carboxylic groups are present on the opposite side is called fumaric acid. And in this case, we can see an important consequence of the cis and trans isomerism in terms of anhydride formation. The cis isomer, the maleic acid, has the two carboxylic groups on close spatial proximity such that when heated at 160 degrees centigrade, they can lose a water molecule together to get anhydride. So you get maleic anhydride as the product. But on the other hand, if you have the trans isomer, the fumaric acid, the carboxylic groups are on opposite sides. That means the carboxylic groups are not close to each other to lose a water molecule together. Therefore, this compound, the trans form, the fumaric acid, will not form anhydride. So this is an important consequence of the cis-trans isomerism. And now let's check the relative stability of the cis and trans isomers. Here we've got 2-butene, the cis form on the top and the trans form on the bottom part. If we consider the hydrogenation reaction in both the cis and trans forms undergo hydrogenation to get the same product butane. But if we consider the enthalpy of hydrogenation, we can see that the reaction is exothermic. That is, the 6 form undergo hydrogenation by losing 120 kilojoules per mole of the compound, whereas the trans form undergoes hydrogenation by losing only 115 kilojoules per mole of the compound. This difference in reaction enthalpies suggests that there is a difference in tendency for the reaction to occur. That means the cis isomer loses larger amount of energy during the reaction. That means it has got higher tendency to occur, whereas the trans isomer has got lower enthalpy of hydrogenation, meaning that the trans isomer shows less tendency for the reaction. That means the cis isomer shows higher tendency for the reaction because it is less stable than the trans isomer. This way we can see that the trans isomer is more stable than the cis isomer. Why is it that way? Because in the cis isomer, the electron clouds of the similar groups, they are placed very close to each other such that they overlap, or there is a strong repulsive interaction between the electron clouds of the methyl groups in this case. So this gives rise to a steric strain in the cis isomer. Whereas in the trans isomer, as the bulky groups are placed on the opposite sides, the electron clouds are placed opposite to each other. So there is no possibility of overlapping of electron clouds from these bulky groups. Therefore, there is no steric strain in the trans isomer if you compare it with the cis isomer. So the higher steric strain in the cis isomer explains its lower stability in comparison with that of trans isomer. Now let's see how their polarity changes. Here the carbon-chlorine bond is polar, and you can see the bond polarity is in this direction towards chlorine. And in trans isomer, as the two carbon-chlorine bonds are oppositely placed, the polarity is also oppositely placed. Therefore, if you consider the whole molecule, the polarity due to the one half of the molecule is cancelled by the polarity due to the other half, because these dipoles are placed opposite to each other. Therefore, the molecule is non-polar with a zero dipole moment. And on the other hand, if you consider the cis isomer, the dipoles are oriented not in opposite directions, giving rise to a net non-zero dipole moment to the molecule, making the molecule polar. So in short, the trans isomers are non-polar, whereas cis isomers are polar. And let's now see the differences in boiling points of cis and trans isomers. During boiling, energy is used against the intermolecular interactions. Therefore, in order to compare the boiling points, we need to consider the intermolecular interactions. Here, for the cis isomer, as it is polar, there is the possibility for strong intermolecular interaction. Whereas on the other hand, in trans isomer, as the molecule is non-polar as a whole, the intermolecular interactions are weaker here. Therefore, in trans isomer, it is easy to break the weaker intermolecular interactions. Therefore, the trans isomer boils at lower temperature than the cis isomer. In cis isomer, to break the strong intermolecular interactions, you need to supply higher amount of heat. Shortly, trans isomer boils at lower temperature than cis isomer. Now coming to melting point, when the solid substance is converted to liquid. For the cis isomer, the packing of molecules within the crystal is not very tight due to its peculiar structure. Whereas the trans isomers or the trans molecules pack very well within the crystal. Therefore, the intermolecular interactions in the crystalline state is stronger for the trans isomer than for the cis isomer. Therefore, in order to melt the trans isomer, you need to apply high amount of heat. That's about geometrical isomerism and its consequences in terms of different physical and chemical properties. Let's now see the different notations used to denote the opposite geometrical isomerism in different kinds of compounds. Here in these examples we have seen before, the two carbons have same set of substituents. Therefore, it is easy for us to denote cis having the same groups on the same side of the double bond and trans with the same groups on the opposite sides of the double bond. But if you've got this example where the two carbons have got different set of substituents, how do we denote these two isomers arising from the difference in the three-dimensional arrangement? For that we have the EZ notation. The assignment of E or Z notation is given based on certain rules. The first one is the atoms, the substituents on both the carbons are numbered or ranked according to the Cahn-Ingold-Prelog rule. This is a sequence rule which states that the substituents with higher atomic mass is ranked with higher priority. If the first atoms in the substituents are the same, you need to count for the second atom, etc. Once you prioritize the substituents on each carbon, carbon, you need to look the placement of similar priorities on each carbon. Let's demonstrate this with an example. Here, these are the set of substituents. Let's imagine here you've got bromine, chlorine, hydroxyl and hydrogens. Here you've got on one carbon chlorine and hydrogen, and on the second carbon you've got bromine and hydroxyl groups. Now you need to rank the substituents on each carbon. Considering this carbon, you've got bromine and oxygen here, and atomic mass is higher for bromine, so this is the first priority group and this is the second priority group on this carbon. And similarly, the substituents on the second carbon are also numbered. Chlorine gets the first priority and hydrogen gets the second priority. And now, here if you look, the first priority groups on the two carbons are on the same side of the double bond and the second priority groups are on the same side. So this is Z isomer. The usage of Z arises the German word zusammen, which means together. So the high priority groups are together on the same side in Z isomer. And coming to the second structure, here the first carbon has got the high priority group below and the second priority group there up. And for the second carbon, chlorine is the first priority group and hydrogen the second priority group. The high priority groups on both the carbons are placed on opposite sides. That's why this is the E isomer corresponding to the German word entgegen, meaning opposite. This is about the EZ notation for geometrical isomers in compounds having different substituents on the carbon atoms. And now let's see the special case of oximes. Oximes are a kind of imines where nitrogen possesses a hydroxyl group. And these oximes are formed by the reaction of carbonyl groups with hydroxylamine. Here, this oxime is formed from a ketone. That's why this is a ketoxime. And if the oxime originates from an aldehyde, it's called an aldoxime. Geometrical isomerism is possible in oximes too because the rotation about the carbon-nitrogen double bond is restricted. And the different geometrical isomers are denoted by syn and anti notation. Here, for aldoximes, if the hydrogen and OH are placed on the same side, that is called syn isomer, whereas if OH and hydrogen are placed on opposite sides, that is anti-isomer. Here in these examples, in the first case, the hydrogen and OH are placed on opposite sides, that's why this is anti-isomer, whereas in the second case, hydrogen and OH group, the hydroxyl group are placed on the same side, that's why it is syn isomer. Coming to ketoximes, it is slightly different comparing to the syn-anti notation in aldoxime. Here, if the hydroxyl group and first group in the name of the ketone part are on the same side, that is a syn isomer. And if the first group in the name and the hydroxyl are on the opposite sides, that is anti-isomer. Let's see this example here. The compound can be named methyl-ethyl ketoxime. Here, the methyl part comes first. And the methyl group, the first group in the name and hydroxyl are on the same side. That is why this is syn-methyl-ethyl ketoxime. And if I mention the name starting with ethyl, if I say it is ethyl-methyl ketoxime, I should say the first part of the name is ethyl, which is opposite to the hydroxyl group. So this will be anti-ethyl-methyl ketoxime. This is how we name syn and anti-isomers in case of ketoxime. So that's briefly about the different notations of geometrical isomerism, cis trans, EZ and syn-anti notations, which is valid exclusively for oximes. And with that, let's close this session on geometrical isomerism, and in the upcoming session we will be discussing the optical isomerism, which is another kind of configurational isomerism. Thank you until then.